today is the day that the Electoral College will cast their vote. In fact, it's actually happening right now as I record this video. I had stuff happen. I'm a little further behind than I wanted to be in my video production series. Headlines across papers today, and actually for the last several months, have asked the question as to whether there will be faithless electors. Why would the framers of a constitution establish an electoral college or a group of electors to vote on behalf of the American people instead of having a popular vote? It can actually be argued that the Electoral College was created or established for an election just like this one. And that argument can actually be made for two completely different reasons. Two completely different reasons. In fact, reasons that are in direct opposition to one another can be used to argue why the Electoral College was established. The first claim that is made is that the Electoral College was created to correct mistakes should the popular vote produce a president who does not meet societal's requirements, meaning somebody who doesn't seem like they are ready or fit for the job. The evidence used to support this claim is Federalist number 68, written by Alexander Hamilton. It states the process of election affords a moral certainty that the office of president will never fall to the lot of any man who is not in eminent degree endowed with the requisite qualifications or the necessary qualifications. Hamilton also states it was equally desirable that the immediate election should be made by men most capable of analyzing the qualities adapted to the station
and acting under circumstances favorable to deliberation into a judicious combination of the reasons and inducements which are proper to govern their choice.
A small number of persons selected by their fellow citizens from the general mass will be most likely to possess the information and discernment requisite to such complicated investigations. He's stating there that the electors will be able to analyze this candidate for president. They will be able to see whether this person should or should not be the president-elect. Therefore, claim number 1 states, based on the original intent of the Electoral College as explained by Alexander Hamilton in Federalist number 68, the electors are put into place to analyze and deliberate whether or not the president-elect has the appropriate qualifications to serve or be seen as fit to serve in office.
I woke up like this. I woke up like this. We flawless. Ladies, tell them I woke up like this.
Claim number 2. The Electoral College was created to ensure that the political character of the states was represented in the electoral process, as opposed to the political elite or large population centers dominating the political arena. We find this in Federalist number 39, written by James Madison. In it, he states the following: "It is essential to such a government that it be derived from the great body of the society, not from an inconsiderable proportion or a favored class of it.
Otherwise, a handful of tyrannical nobles, exercising their oppressions by a delegation of their powers, might aspire to the rank of republicans and claim for their government the honorable title of the republic."
When the framers of the Constitution were actually establishing how our country would operate, one of the huge arguments was about representation. We're taking it back a little bit. Remember, the Articles of Confederation failed. The Articles of Confederation failed because, do you remember the Articles of Confederation? The Articles of Confederation was our first form of government. Before we actually had a constitution, we had the Articles of Confederation. They were weak for many reasons, and one of the reasons they were weak was because the 13 independent states did not want to give the federal government too much power. All right, they did not want to give too much power. Therefore, they created an impotent or weak federal government. It didn't work. But when you get to the Constitutional Convention, the states were terrified that they would not be represented. The states were terrified that the small states would be outvoted by the big states every single time. The states were terrified that their interests would not be represented. And please tell me you remember at least the rallying cry of the Revolutionary War, which was taxation without what? Representation. It was about being represented. The very basic foundation and fabric of our country is about representation, meaning that you will not be outweighed by just the vast majority, but that the silent minority can be heard as well. In this case, the silent minority is actually the Trump voters. We see that Hillary Clinton has won overwhelmingly in large city areas. That's not a surprise. James Madison in Federalist 39 states that the purpose of the election process that we actually have is to make sure that these big city centers do not drown out the voices of those in society who maybe aren't part of this great leading class or this great city center. While there might be a dense population of people within these city centers, their lifestyles, beliefs, values vary greatly from those across the country in what we would call the flyover states or rural America. Therefore, the Electoral College exists so that the voices in these other states can be heard. Should you remove the Electoral College, the states that would be represented in the electoral process would be New York, Florida, Texas, and California. The Electoral College was created or established for an election just like this one. And that argument can actually be made for two completely different reasons. Two completely different reasons. In fact, reasons that are in direct opposition to one another can be used to argue why the Electoral College was established.
Drinking my coffee in my cool cup given to me by a student. Thanks, Claire. You got me, girl, you got me. It's true, Santa. I totally agree. If it wasn't for coffee.